Hello and welcome to my Palace of the Dead floor 199 clear. Those of you who are choosing to spend 10 minutes watching this, thank you. Let's get right to it. These little guys spawn as a result of a palm I used on the previous floor. They're one-shot enemies that have a high chance of dropping a chest, and they also count towards the kill count for opening the gate for the next floor. Now, this floor had a very, very annoying debuff, no items. No items means that you can't use any of your palms, except a Palm of Serenity to get rid of it, which I do not have, and you also cannot use any of your inventory items, such as sustaining potions. For a red mage, not being able to use sustaining potions is a very, very big deal. Red mages get hit very hard by all of these mobs at this level. So this is a Deep Palace Keeper. He's a patrol. He aggroes on sound. And I almost run into the next one. I am so focused on getting past that one that I activate Sprint, and I almost ran headfirst into that Keeper. That would have been the end of the run. Any aggro on any of these enemies besides a Wraith is the end of the run. Very eagle-eyed viewers will notice that I have a Palm of Steel that is still going. It has 45 seconds left in my buffs. That's a holdover from a previous floor. I won't be able to refresh it, first off, because I don't have any more, but second, I can't use items. So in 30 seconds, everything's going to start hitting me at their full force, and I'm not going to be able to mitigate really any of it. The only tool I have is Vercure, and if I spend my time Vercuring too much, then I will run down the clock, and I will not get to floor 200 in time. For all of these enemies, I am going to be kiting them. I'm going to be bringing them up and down these hallways as often as possible. I want the enemies to have to move as much as they possibly can. The more they are moving, the less they are auto-attacking me. It's also worth noting that every enemy's casts are invisibly being recharged as they're moving. So for a Wraith, who has both Scream and Accursed Pox, they will be charging those while they are moving. So not only are they not auto-attacking, but they're getting close to using their cast again. And if they're casting, they're not auto-attacking me. Really, the whole idea is to get them to stop hitting me, because when they crit, they can do over 9,000 damage. And that's way too much. You can see I'm only Vercuring for 3,400. I'm really having to just use this hallway. It's near my home square. I know that there are no traps in my home square. Every other square, though, I have to hug the edges of the wall. And I have to make sure that I am always, always, always hugging those edges, because if I step near the middle, there could be a trap, and any trap could instantly end the run. A trap of luring would end the run. Detonation would probably end the run. And any of the other traps would still waste a lot of time, and time is not really on my side here. I don't know the exact amount of enemies I'm having to kill to get to the next floor, but it's looking like it's going to have to be a few. This guy, he's in range, but he's not in line of sight. It's kind of annoying. I'm having to try to see him up these stairs, so I just jump and fletch just to get him down here. Now, there are two patrols moving in, and I know they're going to turn and go up to that room. Patrols always want to explore to the ends of the room. But they aggro by sound, so I need to walk out of this scream. Now I know that there's going to be a follow-up, so I need to keep walking. And I have just enough time to walk out of that Accursed Pox. And now we're back to him auto-attacking me, but I'm back to my good fun hallway. We've made it back. This isn't really safety by any means. If I get hit by those knights, I also die. And that knight starts walking towards me. That's terrifying to me. If he had walked slightly more towards me, that would have actually just been the end of the run. I realize I'm in a bad position for Scream, so I move him back here. And then he does Scream, which allows me to go ahead and give space. If he had screamed near the middle of the hallway, I may not have had any place to run to. a lot of high-end solo palace is preemptively placing enemies. You can't really complain when they do stuff because it's all on timers, and you just have to memorize those timers and prepare for them. And if you don't, that's kind of on you. Even though there are going to be times that seem almost completely unfair uh, in regards to how enemies are placed and such. But you have to mitigate it as much as you can. So there's another patrol that has spawned. I know now there are 3 patrols walking around on the floor. One of them's walking away from me, and 2 of them are going to be walking towards me at some point soon. So I know I don't have a ton of time here. So I need to get this Wraith down as quick as possible. So I go in, use my melee combo, and I'm not able to finish it, which really, really hurts. If you interrupt your melee combo by Vercuring, then the last step is just wasted. You don't get that final big hit. But if I had gone for it and he auto-attacked me again, I would have just been dead. Kind of like that. That's an auto-attack crit, 9,400 damage. It's constant. It's so much damage. I'm having to just sit here and heal because I see that other patrol coming and I need to get into a place where I can get away from him but still dodge the scream. So that's why I was holding the Wraith in that corner, just to get him to use the scream. Now we're far enough away from the patrol. If I can just kill him before he comes back, then I don't have to worry about it. I've got both OGCDs back up. I've got my melee combo up. And that's enough to finish him off. Not enough to open the gate, though. These big hulking plant boys only aggro by sight, so I'm willing to just kind of mosey on past them as long as they're not looking at me. Now, they will turn and walk in a semi-random direction, and they have to do that at least once every 30 seconds, but it's not a perfect thing. They can do it sooner. So I'm now running around hoping to see a Wraith. If I don't see a Wraith, I'm going to either have to wait for a Wraith to spawn or take my chances and fight a Goromond. I don't want to do that. But we get very lucky, and there is a Wraith up here. Once again, have to wait for this Keeper to just get on past. Can't touch him. Can't run near him. And the Wraith decides to go ahead and cast at me. Like many enemies in Palace, Wraiths are one of the enemies that will just cast at you even if they're not aggroed on you. Just to add to the fun. So I keep him here so that he can go ahead and use his Scream. I can displace back. And I know that the other patrol could move my way. So I'm trying to keep my eye on him while still fighting. And it does not look like he went my way. He went the other way. Again, extremely good for me, because that gives me a little more freedom to fight this guy and head towards my home square. As often as possible, I want to fight in my home square. I just can't. There have been so many patrols walking that it's really been a non-option for a lot of this. And that activates the gate. I've got 3 minutes remaining, so I've got time. I need to make sure that I don't get touched by any of these patrols, that the knights don't get close enough to me. I just need to make sure the whole thing can end well. I would hate for it to all go downhill here. This guy decides to walk all the way to my side, so I nod and I just exchange sides with him. Very polite. Everyone's very polite here in deep, deep Palace. Now for these guys, I'm just going to have to wait for them to turn around. Again, the aggro on sight. I've got a patrol coming up behind me, so I need to be very, very aware and make sure that he doesn't ever touch me. And I've got a moment here I can get in, just hug the right end of this. And that's when I could finally breathe a sigh of relief. You only need a few seconds to get down to the bottom and touch the pedestal, so that is effectively the run. Which means that I don't have to do solo Palace anymore. I am done. Unless I decide to pick it up and do it on another job, then yeah, I've done what I set out to do. Thank you for spending 10 minutes watching some Solo Palace. Hope you were able to enjoy it, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.